This whole service in total was over 6 hours, so keep watching to see everything we did to create this look. I am so excited to show you everything we did to create this look. If you're interested in hair extensions and how they work, then keep watching because I have a little bit of detail on the process. To start, she has about 6 weeks of grow out for her extensions and her color. So we're going to start with removing these hair extensions. And this actually is my favorite remover, the spray I got at the beauty supply store. And I have another one that I got from Sally's, this one right here. And I do not like this one nearly as much as I like the actual oil spray. So there's a little tip if you're wondering about the best way to go about removing hair extensions. I highly recommend the oil spray. So the removal process can be time consuming. For us, it took about an hour and a half. So you just work the solution in between the two pieces of tape that are sandwiched on the hair, and then just kind of really gently, I know it looks like I'm tugging because it's in fast forward, but as cautiously as you can because you don't want to tear the hair. If you do not feel it slipping just with a little bit of a tug, then keep working it in because you don't want to tear the hair. I always have the hair at the roots before I pull, and I always ask her if it's tearing, and she never has any breakage. So here's her natural hair. You can see that the extensions have not caused any damage. She doesn't have any breakage or any bald spots or anything. Afterwards, we did a little bit of some treatments on her hair. I'm running some Olaplex through her ends because we're about to go through and do her root retouch. So I want to make sure that her hair is really protected through her ends. Make sure it has some conditioning in there, and the Olaplex really helps to rebuild her hair and strengthen through the lightening process. So I went through beforehand and I really clarified her hair, made sure to get any of that buildup, any of the oil out, because I don't want that to affect her hair as we're lightening. So we're going through and doing her roots. I will say that she's a natural level 8. She is very, very light naturally. So to be able to achieve the level of blonde that we do is very easy because her hair just lifts amazingly and she doesn't have any natural warmth in her hair. So to be able to get it to a really pretty icy white blonde is extremely doable. So when people come in and they ask for the hair that we do on her, I always let people know that my job is super easy when I'm doing her hair, because on anybody else that has a lot of dark pigment in their hair, a lot of underlying warm tones, just I wouldn't be able to achieve maybe the same level of brightness or as nice of a clear bright blonde as we are able to do with her. Also, I have other videos where I've gone into more detail and information about how I do my bleach and tones, what I'm doing here. I just don't want to bore you with this process, so I'm cutting out a lot of this video and application. But if you want more information on how to do a bleach and tone and how I prefer to do it, then I have videos that you can check out for that service. I'm applying to her roots, and then some of these areas where her hair is a little bit warmer, I'm just swiping down in there to kind of start lifting her hair. I'm not really running the bleach through her ends around her face though, because I don't want to cause any damage. So now that she's processing, I'm going through with purple shampoo. We're adding it to the water to do her extensions and tone them. I'm just taking one little strand of hair extensions and we're going to test the water to see if it's going to grab too much, I add just a little bit at a time and then add a little bit more if I feel like it needs to tone and be a little bit stronger to help cool the hair down. So just take one little piece and swish it around. I learned by trial and error how to do this best, because one time I added too much purple shampoo and it literally turned her extensions purple. So always just use one little piece of hair, swish it around a little bit. You can see that it's cooled down from the original color of the hair extensions here. And then now that I'm confident in the amount of purple shampoo that I have, I am able to go through with the rest of the extensions and just swish it around until I feel like it's cooled down enough to where it will match the color of the hair that we're going to tone her with. So last time we did her hair, we did her with a darker toner just to add a little bit more of a cooler, ashier look instead of platinum blonde. So here's her hair that we did before. It was literally amazing. We were both so obsessed with how it looked. It was so pretty. But now she wants to go back brighter blonde. So we're going to really safely and carefully comb through her ends and drag the bleach down. This is why we applied the Olaplex earlier, to protect her hair so that way it wouldn't get damaged. And I'm not combing through the ends all the way yet, just because her hair's porous, so it's going to lighten up really fast. I'm just combing through the mid shaft, and then after all of that is applied and I notice that her hair is starting to lighten, then I'm going to go through and drag it through the ends. All right, so here she is. You can see that her hair has lightened quite a bit. I'm always amazed at how dark and warm the hair looks when it's wet, because when you apply the bleach and see how white the roots get, it's just crazy to me how warm the hair gets over time, because she's always super cool. And this is anybody, not just her, but it's crazy to me how warm the hair just gets when you use heat on the hair, curl it, flat iron it, just any of that stuff. It just warms the hair up so much. So I'm always amazed to see how white the hair looks during the bleaching process next to hair that has been, you know, warmed up over time throughout the last few weeks of doing their hair. And I think it's a perfect example of when you don't use heat protectors and correct products on your hair, how much that actually affects your hair and how it warms up over time. And here's what I used to tone for her platinum blonde. Now we're going to go through and do our tape-in hair extensions. We've just come to the conclusion that this is the best choice for her for hair installation. I have other options that I offer to my clients, but it's just whatever suits them best. So this is the method that we choose to use on her, and this is how I like to apply them. I feel like if you use a foil comb to put it up to the roots, then it's easier to pull the foil comb out, because if you use your finger, then you're just gonna have a hard time trying to get it not to stick to your hand, and then trying to put it to the roots and all this stuff. So just using the foil comb makes it so much easier. And then I tap the roots with the flat iron, and then I clamp it shut. And then this is how I like to do my installations. So when you're going through and applying the hair extensions, I always go through and feel for where her application was for the row before. I kind of like to bricklay, that way there's no areas where it looks like there's a hole where the hair extensions lay. I always want to make sure that the previous layer of extensions that I did, when I go up to my next section, that I'm feeling around and then making sure that I'm covering any gaps that might show through when all of the hair is left down. So when you come in here to the area around the ear, you want to make sure that you're sitting back far enough around the ear, or just high enough so that as the hair grows out, it doesn't hit the ear, because that can be an irritation to the clients, is coming in and saying that as the hair grows out, they feel the hair extension just hitting their ears. So just be cautious of your application and make sure that you're a decent area away from the ear, so that way when it grows out, it's not irritating them. Okay, I have to apologize because when I first started taking the video, I had her centered in the frame, and then I just wasn't paying attention to where she was initially, and then I moved her over thinking that was going to be a better position. So I apologize that she's kind of off center. So here I am just trimming her hair, and you just kind of want to nip the ends to get any like really thin pieces that might fall shorter. And then we do the haircut and facial framing. I just slide cut. I'll do a better video of that next time, but this is kind of just a little brief area on how I trim her hair. See how it feels?
This is so awesome.
Here's her before again. And then my client was so nice. She let me style her hair twice because we were losing daylight. So I really quickly just wanted to get a picture and video of her hair straightened because I was afraid that it was going to get dark real fast. So we came back and voila, look at this amazing hair. I am so obsessed with this hair. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. This color, the style, everything is perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and don't forget to like and subscribe.